So Anthony, you got Travis Reeves, 38-year-old American veteran, coming to fight you. What do you make of him?
What I make of him is he's another opponent. I've got to go out there and do my job. Be exciting, be explosive. Go out there and put on the show.
When you say he's another opponent, in boxing terms, an opponent with inverted commas means a guy that's just being brought over to get beat. Do you mean it like in that respect, or do you mean it in the sense that he's just another name?
He's just going to be another opponent. Meaning he's another guy that's going to get put in front of me, another obstacle. Literally, I thrive on obstacles. I don't take no opponent lightly. Every opponent I've fought so far has got 2 fists, capabilities, and I literally just got to go out there and do my job.
Is it the sort of fight you need?
Most definitely. I feel like this fight is a perfect fight for this time of my career. My 18th professional fight. My 12th, I had 12 amateur fights. This is my 18th professional fight. You know, that's gonna, if my maths is correct, that's summing up to 30 fights overall. That's amateur and pro. So again, for someone that started boxing at 19 years old, I'm doing well. And you know, the stage I'm at right now, it shows people that no matter when you start, how you start, if you start, you can achieve big things.
People want to see you let off the leash though, don't they?
Of course.
Are you itching to get off the leash too?
Do you know what? I feel like I'm off the leash. And that's just me being honest. I've been off the leash from my turn pro. You know, if you go back in the history books and look at legends' careers, look at the building blocks, look how they got to. Canelo Alvarez, who's a current fighter now, he had over 30 fights before he even came on the radar. He turned professional at the age of 16. Deontay Wilder, who just had one of the biggest fights in history against Tyson Fury, over 30-something fights, and he had a fantastic knockout ratio, off the radar. You know, these are times where these fighters gain their experience, and then again, they're televised, and then people start to know who they are. I was televised from early in my career, and I've been doing my job, so that's why there's so much pressure on my shoulders to say, oh, fight this guy, fight that guy. I haven't shied away from no challenges. We've taken the fights, or we've had the fights that are relevant for my career. When we've offered to fight certain people, they've turned it down. Or the fight hasn't happened for whatever reason. I've had a lot of pullouts in my career, but again, I can't sit down and focus on the negativity. I've got to only focus on the positive, and that's the stage I'm at. I'm at the stage right now that a lot of people want to be at.
How frustrating has it been for you with changes of opponents, shows falling through and so forth? How frustrating is that for you in terms of not getting the continuity going?
No frustration. No frustration. And when I say no frustration, I mean that. Because the way I see it is, when your career is going well, don't complain. Just take it in a stride, enjoy your career, enjoy the journey. And literally, all of this is just part of the journey. You know, different opponents pulling out, change of opponent is preparing you for different opponents. You know, you might prepare to fight a certain opponent and they come with a different game plan. So that's why in my mind, I've never had that mind frame of train for an opponent or train for this style, because you never know what they're gonna come with. You know, you might fight a guy and he might just fight completely different.
You mentioned Canelo was afforded the luxury, if you will, of building under the radar.
Yes.
But you're on the radar and people know about you, people are talking about you. You don't have that luxury of doing stuff behind closed doors. You're in the public eye, you're being seen, people are watching your fights on BT Sport. And you're under scrutiny. And people are coming at you now saying, you know, you're clearly better than the guys that you've been facing. And there's a good domestic mix with Callum Johnson, Buatsi, you've heard all the names, Craig Richards, you've heard all the Buglioni, who's now retired. They want you in that mix. Is that something that you want to get amongst? Or are you looking now, you're the WBO #1, are you looking further afield and going and leapfrogging that section?
Well, this is just my opinion. The domestic level is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. 2 people are fighting the same day as me. James DeGale and Chris Eubank Jr. That's a domestic fight. They've both been world champions, and they're having a domestic fight now. The names you just mentioned, right now, I'm not saying none of them can get to the level I'm at, but right now, I've surpassed them. The only name that you just mentioned who has done, or at the kind of level I'm at, is Callum Johnson. His last fight, he fought for a world title. He came up short. Again, I commended him for taking the challenge. In my opinion, he took it on short notice. But the domestic scene is always going to be there. And these people that you're talking about, there's certain people that are doing their job, there's certain people that's not. There's certain people that's coming through and there's certain people that are fading off into the background. A name like, again, Joshua Buatsi, I see that fight happening down the line. If he continues to do what he's doing, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. That fight's inevitable to happen. Craig Richards has had a good win the other day. He used to be amongst my stable. He would tell you himself, that fight's not even in the talking lines, because again, he ain't at the level I'm at yet. These fights can happen in the future. No one's to say that domestic fights can't happen at world level. So I'm not in the kind of mind frame of saying you have to deal with your domestic level before you rise. I'm not waiting for nobody. If you've seen from the beginning of my career, I haven't called out nobody. I haven't ducked nobody. I haven't shied away from nobody. The fights that have made sense for me to make, we've tried to make. For whatever reason, then fights haven't happened. And that's not on my behalf.
You seem to be very patient, though, and happy to play the long game and wait for the right fights at the right time. Is that right? Is that fair to say?
Most definitely. It's a career. It's a boxing career. Someone that jumps at certain opportunities, as I say, I believe is not a confident individual. So you get thrown a bone. Are you gonna bite? If you're confident within yourself, you know that that bone's there. You know your goal. You keep working, keep doing your job, and that's exactly what I'm doing. If you look at the way other people's careers are going, I'm not a person. Again, I don't even know, but I'm going based off of how much people are calling me out. So I must be the person that everyone's looking to. And again, that's just me, from me being in my own little bubble. I'm not there focused on what anyone else is doing. I'm literally in my own bubble, me, my trainer manager, Tunde Ajayi, working every day, having fun. Ade Oleyenka, working hard, having fun.
So what are the goals? If you're not necessarily focused on those domestic fights and British titles or even European titles, what are the goals? Is it world titles? Do you want to fight in America? Do you want to have, big Wembley shows that we've had over here? Like what's on the bucket list?
All of the above. All of the above. Everything you just said, again, these are not just my goals, it's a journey. And again, this is just my beliefs. Everyone's different, everyone's entitled. The journey, how the journey goes, I'm not in control of. The destination, I'm not in control of. I'm only in control of how hard I work. And I'm a strong believer in you reap the benefits of your hard work. So all I'm doing is, as I said before, I'm in my bubble. Everyone that's outside of this bubble don't matter to me. So again, people are associating me now with Sergio Kovalev, the world champion. At this stage in my career already, that's what my name is being mentioned with, world title fights. But at the same time, I'm being dragged down a bit and saying domestic fights. So you can say fairly I'm somewhere in between.
Are you ready for Kovalev?
I feel like I'm ready for anybody. That's just the nature of a boxer, a fighter, whatever you want to call it. I feel like I'm ready for anybody. I think I was ready for anybody last year. But it's a career. You have a manager for a reason. You have a promoter for a reason. You have a trainer for a reason. They see things and they go about things in different type of ways. And if it was up to me, again, I come from a certain background, and if you get challenged, let's see who wins. Let's scrap it out, and then see who comes out on top.
Do you think there are certain fights that you need before taking that step up to that world title level, though?
Oh, well, most definitely. There's a saying, sink or swim, which I think is a funny analogy, but it has truth to it. But I just believe in dealing with one occasion as it comes. After this fight, I've got to get called for a world title. Tunde Ajayi and Frank Walker say, your next title is a world title fight. Again, I've got to be ready for that. So it's not about, people are saying, I've heard rumors anyway, and this is just from family and friends. This guy said this about you. I'll say, then he's doing his job. If he's talking about me, it shows me I'm doing something right. He's doing his job, and I'm doing my job. He's talking about someone that's above him. If I continue to do what I'm doing, there's always going to be people saying negative things. That's the way the world works. There has to be balance. If I'm not doing my job and no one cares, I've got something to worry about.
Do you read the negative stuff?
Never.
Are you aware it's out there?
Of course. I see little things, as I said to you before. Family and friends say, have you seen this? This person saying this. I'll say, who is that person? Do you know who he is? Because if he didn't mention my name, you wouldn't know who he is. And again, it's strategy. I've seen this again. When you go back and study boxing and you look through the Mike Tyson era, even something recent, the Floyd Mayweather era, even in the beginning of his career, people do that. They call someone's name, their name becomes associated with that name, their name becomes a name that's getting spoken about. It's strategy.
Has that side of it surprised you? And if all you can do as a fighter, which is what you said, you know, is basically fight and beat the guys put in front of you.
Most definitely.
And so as a fighter, I suppose that's all you've done. So therefore, in many ways, you're blameless into what you're getting the blame for. But do you see why people, because you've been impressive in the fights that you've had, do you see why people think, hang on, let's see him fight at European level, or let's see him in with a Callum Johnson or someone like that? Do you see why the fight fans want that?
I do, but at the same time, them fights are going to happen. It's inevitable. I'm a boxer. You have a career. I'm not going to stay at the same level forever. When you're a world champion, there's still people saying, "Oh, you need to fight that person." When you become a unified champion, there's going to be people saying, "You need to fight that person." It's always going to be naysayers. I cannot focus on that. I've got a journey. And again, as you said before, I'm doing my job. I've done everything right so far after 17 fights. So why would I focus on the small negative when there's so much positive?
You're number one for Kovalev. Do you rate him highly?
Well, he's been world champion for quite a long time. He's been on and off. He lost against Ajayi Ward. He came back and won the world title. He lost it, he won it back. He's been at that level for a long time. He's very experienced. And
he's a hard man, isn't he?
Well, yeah, on TV, that's how he appears. He appears a hard man on TV, but again, it depends who he's in there with. When he was against Ajayi Ward, he did look like the B fighter. He didn't look like the A fighter. So it does matter who you're against. And again, Sergio Kovalev, he came on late in his career, very late in his career, and I commend his career. He's had a fantastic career, and every career has to come to an end. And I feel like he hasn't got that long. I wouldn't say he's got another 10 years left in the sport.
They do say in boxing, the timing's everything. So you see yourself climbing up the ladder, and him, or possibly you topping him off the top of the ladder.
Well, again, it's boxing. As I said to you before, it's a journey. In boxing, you always get, in every sport, you get time zones. You say time is everything, I say everything's timing. Meaning everything is based around timing. Literally, when you walk out on the street, you get in your car, you get to your destination. It's all based on timing. If you get somewhere at the wrong time, or sometimes you might be walking on the street and you see a £10 note. If you was there 2 seconds earlier, someone else would have picked it up. Everything is timing. That's just how life goes in general. So if I fight Kovalev and I take the belt off of him, that's how it was meant to be. If I fight somebody else and I take the belt off of them, that's how it was meant to be. I've only got my goals. I don't focus on any other individual because, as you've seen in the past, Ajayi Ward retired. He was the man. You had other fighters. Nathan Cleverly, he was an English fighter, world champion. He got beaten by Buddy Jack. He retired. You know, you can't dictate another person's career. You can only dictate your career, and that's what I do. I just focus on myself. As I said to you before, I'm in my own little bubble. When someone's put in front of me, I've got a job to do. That's all I focus on. Just with regards to those critics, is it water off a duck's back, or is it motivation for you? It's always motivation. Everything's motivation. From your childhood, from your last fight, wanting to be better than your last fight. Again, I don't believe in pressure, but if you go based off my last performances, to better my last performances, again, that's motivation. To be better than you was last time with a different opponent. It's always going to be motivation for me, all the way to the end. What do you want by the end of this year, by the end of 2019? By the end of 2019, I want to be wherever I'm meant to be. On the fence. Say that again?
On the fence.
What does that mean?
No, I mean like non-committal. Like, what is there a plan? Are there any kind of belts you want, or how many fights you want to have? Any boxes that you want ticked specifically? The boxes I want ticked are the boxes that are meant to be ticked. At the end of 2019, wherever I'm meant to be, that's where I'll be. I said the same thing at the end of 2018. I said the same thing at the end of 2017. I said the same thing at the end of 2016. That's how my career's gone. And I'm going to say the same thing at the end of 2019 and the same thing at the end of 2020. Wherever I'm meant to be at the end of the year, that's where I'll be. Okay. All right, man. Thank you very much for your time. So teach me, how do you do that?
Keep it simple, locked and loaded. Yeah, it goes.